Today I have 49 random facts about the companies we surround ourselves with every day. Let's go. Since their first cookie was made, Oreo has made enough cookies to go around the Earth 610 times if they are laid out like this. If they're stacked on top of each other, we would get to the moon and back almost 6 times. The inventor of Pringles is buried inside a Pringles can. At Fredbear's request himself, parts of his ashes was buried inside an original flavor Pringles container in his grave. Lego are the biggest producer of tires in the world. They produce an impressive 380 million rubber tires every year, beating companies like Michelin, Bridgestone, and Goodyear. Bic has sold the same ballpoint pen, without change since 1950, and has sold over 100 billion of the same pen ever since. In 2015, the domain google.com was accidentally available to buy on Google's domain platform. A former employee stumbled upon it and bought it for $12. Google offered to buy it back for $6,006.13, which is a numerical version of the word Google. They ended up doubling the price when they learned that the former employee planned to donate the money to charity. The famous mugshot of Bill Gates became the outline for the default profile picture for Outlook in 2010. This was ex-Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer's reaction to the iPhone when it was introduced in 2007.
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine.
Play-Doh is an accidental invention. The product was originally used to remove soot from walls, but when the demand declined in the 50s, they needed to find new use cases. Knowing the product was non-toxic, a woman proposed that children could have fun with it. The founder of McAfee Antivirus, John McAfee, made $100 million, then lost 96 of them in the 2008 financial crisis. He had a drug problem, was suspected of killing his neighbor in Belize, and tried to run for president twice before he died in prison in 2021. Tesla was very close to being sold to Google for $11 billion in 2013, but Elon Musk backed out of the deal after sales started to surge. Elon Musk's official title in Tesla is Technoking and CEO. Tesla's Gigafactory in Texas has a floor area double the size of the smallest country in the world. Before they created Apple, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak sold a device that could hack the phone system to make long-distance calls free. At the time, international calls could cost $3 to $5 per minute, but with Jobs and Wozniak's blue box, it was free. Staying on Apple, in 2023, they sold an average of 7 iPhones every second. Burger King once introduced the left-handed Whopper. It was marketed as a regular Whopper, just rotated 180 degrees. People showed up requesting the burger, only to realize the date was April 1st. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon in 1994, he originally called it Cadabra. However, his lawyer advised him to choose a different name because it could be mistaken for the word cadaver. The next year, Amazon got its first order from Bulgaria. Instead of paying with credit card like we would today, the Bulgarian customer mailed 2 folded $100 bills hidden inside a floppy disk to Amazon. There was a note on the floppy disk saying,
"The money is inside the floppy disk." And then it went on to say, "The customs inspectors steal the money, but they don't read English."
McDonald's is the biggest toy distributor in the world, with around 5,000 Happy Meals sold every minute. That means McDonald's sells around 1.5 billion toys every year. The Nike logo was designed by Carolyn Davidson for just $35 when she was a student at Portland State University. However, her work was appreciated by Nike, and they threw her a party in 1983. She was also awarded 500 shares of Nike stock, which is now worth around $2.5 million after stock splits. Some companies have such a long history that they deserve more than one fact. Let's do 4 quick facts about Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola name comes from the coca plant and the cola nut. The first recipe contained cocaine, which was derived from the coca plant, and caffeine from the cola nut. In 1985, after Pepsi's blind taste test campaign showed that most people preferred the flavor of Pepsi over Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola decided to change their formula. After a huge backlash, the original flavor was brought back after just 3 months. The same year, Coca-Cola was the first soda in space, with special-made space cans, which made it possible for the astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger to enjoy the refreshing drink. You can find Coca-Cola in every country in the world, except Cuba, North Korea, and Russia. Samsung was originally a grocery, dried fish, and noodle trade company when it first started in 1938. It wasn't until the 60s that they pivoted over to tech and launched their first 12-inch black and white TV in 1970. The same two companies, BlackRock and Vanguard, are the two largest shareholders in 9 of the 10 largest companies in the world. Facebook's first logo used the face of actor Al Pacino in it. Because of the huge growth in the company's stock, 76% of Nvidia employees are millionaires, and 1 in 3 employees has a net worth of more than $20 million. When FedEx was close to bankruptcy and was denied a crucial loan, the owner took the company's last $5,000 to Las Vegas and turned it into $27,000 in a casino. The Post-it note was made by accident. In 1968, 3M employee Spencer Silver was tasked with creating the strongest adhesive on the market. His result was the exact opposite, an adhesive that was very easy to dislodge. That was the spark that ignited the idea for the Post-it note. Walt Disney, Henry Ford, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg all dropped out of school. Mickey Mouse was originally called Mortimer Mouse until Walt's wife convinced him to change it. Sony's first product was a rice cooker. It didn't become a commercial success because it mostly made undercooked or overcooked rice. Similar to Coca-Cola, Pepsi was also started by a pharmacist. It was first called Brad's Drink, but he changed the name a few years later to Pepsi because he believed it helped to cure dyspepsia, a form of indigestion. There's a city in Japan named Toyota City after the car manufacturer. Ingvar Kamprad started IKEA when he was only 17 years old. The name comes from the founder's name himself, the farm where he grew up, Elmtarid, and Agunnarid, the nearby village. Other companies are also named after their founders. Adidas is another example of this, named after Adi Dassler. His brother Rudolf Dassler was the founder of Puma. Over 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. In 1999, Netflix introduced its subscription service, offering members unlimited DVD rentals without due dates, late fees, or monthly rental limits. The Netflix sound is the sound of Frank Underwood knocking the table in House of Cards. Nintendo was founded all the way back in 1889, and their business was to develop card games. In 1962, Ferruccio Lamborghini took one of his Ferraris back to the factory to complain to Enzo Ferrari himself about clutch issues. Enzo replied saying, "Maybe you should learn how to drive." Lamborghini was insulted by Ferrari and went on to produce sports cars himself. 8 months after the Monahan brothers started Domino's Pizza, one of the brothers, Jim, gave away his share to his brother in exchange for a used Volkswagen Beetle. Ben and Jerry's have a graveyard where they bury their discontinued flavors. There are over 300 flavors that have been sent to the graveyard. If a Google employee dies, their spouse will receive half their pay for 10 years as well as stock benefits, and any children will receive $1,000 a month until they turn 19. The inventor of Vaseline, Robert Chesbrough, claims that he ate a spoon of Vaseline every morning. He lived to the age of 96. When Austrian businessman Dietrich Mateschitz was on vacation in Thailand, he suffered from severe jet lag. He was then introduced to what was targeted as a low-priced alternative to coffee, named Krating Daeng. The drink was very popular among the locals, and Dietrich fell in love with the product after it had cured his jet lag. Dietrich then approached the man behind the drink, Chaleo Vidya, to make a deal to bring the product to the Western market. That was the birth of the beloved energy drink Red Bull. Do you know where the air in Airbnb comes from? The founders of the company placed an air mattress inside their living room and turned it into a bed and breakfast. They realized it wasn't a bed and breakfast, but an air bed and breakfast. For a marketing campaign in South Korea, Dunkin' Donuts sprayed coffee aroma into public buses every time their jingle played. It's reported that their sales increased by 29%. I really hope you enjoyed this video. What's your favorite fact? Please consider subscribing for more videos like this.